How's it going, guys? I wanted to take a few minutes in this video to pull out a couple of classic pistols. Of course, we all recognize the classic 1911. This is my Kimber Custom 2 1911 chambered in 45 ACP. This is a gun that I have had for quite some time. It's a very fun gun to shoot. The Kimber standard magazine, of course, 7-round mags, but as you all know, it's a good idea to upgrade your magazines and use good quality magazine for any 1911. The 1911 is a classic design that has been around since 1911, designed by none other than John Moses Browning himself, and it is possibly one of the most copied firearm designs in the world. Throughout the generations, throughout the years, there have been firearms that have tried to mimic the 1911, and they have drawn heavily on a lot of the designs. And I wanted to take today to look at another classic that falls into that, and that is the Smith & Wesson 4506-1. If any of you guys are familiar with the movie Training Day or even Miami Vice, some of those classic Hollywood blockbusters from the late 80s, early 90s, you've certainly seen this firearm. This is, of course, one of the Gen 3 Smith & Wessons. This is also chambered in 45 ACP. This gun is one that I've had for several years. If you've been a follower of my channel for quite some time, you know the history of this gun. This was a Christmas present to me. It's one that I had been looking for quite some time, and it was gifted to me, and I absolutely love this gun. I'll have to say I believe that this is possibly the most accurate 45 ACP that I own. This gun traditionally has a few differences between the 1911. Traditionally, a 1911 is a single action only firearm. I can press that trigger and it drops the hammer, and then when I press it again, nothing happens. Of course, the Smith is a single action, double action, or double action, single action, just depending on the order. When you disengage the safety, that first trigger press is going to be a long double action until it falls. Then your follow-up shots are going to be a single action press. And of course, the differences are, I believe that it's around 9 pounds on the double action and then around 6 pounds for the single action press. This gun also features a decocker, similar to like the Berettas or others. When I put the gun on safe, I simply flip that down and it will decock that hammer. Now when I press the safety to disengage it, notice the hammer movement. You can see that it went forward slightly. Of course, that is the way that the safety functions on this. You know, it does have the safety block that will keep that hammer from hitting the firing pin. Of course, the sights on this are the traditional Novak sights. These are protected on my particular model. There's some out there that do not have these wings that basically help to protect that sight. These are adjustable on this gun. You can adjust the elevation on these particular sights. The front sight is dovetailed in on this particular model, as you can see, and 1911s will come traditionally with the sights either dovetailed or fixed depending on the version that you own. Now there again, the safety on the 1911, you also do have a grip safety on them, which is something that you do not have on the Smith & Wesson. The takedown on this, if we just look at the barrel, if you were going to have to service this firearm, the 1911 has the traditional button. Of course, this has the full-length guide rod, which with the barrel bushing, so you know, those of you guys who are familiar with taking these down know that you have to rotate that barrel bushing in order to disassemble and service the 1911. The Smith & Wesson does not. This gun is one that you would take it down very similar to the way that you would other models. However, basically you would disassemble this gun similar to the way you would of a 1911 if you did not take the guide rod and the guide spring out first. It can be a little bit interesting if you are not familiar with taking one of these apart, but we're not going to do that in this video because of YouTube's policies. I just wanted to show you and to talk with you about some of the differences between these two firearms. Now, this gun typically comes with just plastic grips. I do have these Hogue overmold grips on this gun. It does have the finger grooves, and it's just a little more comfort in the hands for me when shooting this gun. The 1911s, my Kimber, it does have the grip panels as well. These do not wrap all the way around the way that the grips on the Smith does. Now, Smith & Wesson had several different models of their Gen 3 series, of course 9mm, things like that, just depending on the various features and things that you wanted in a firearm. A lot of these guns were carried by law enforcement. You can get models literally that are stamped, from various police agencies. I had a guy that took my concealed carry class back several years ago that had one that was stamped from a law enforcement agency. Once they were traded in, it was sold on the open market, and he ended up with it. So this is just a quick comparison between a couple classic designs, showing you how that the 1911 has kind of influenced a lot of other classics throughout the years in firearms. And I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about it. But guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever had your hands on one of the Gen 3 Smiths? Have you ever shot one of those? Do you own one? Let me know down in the comments below. What are your thoughts on the 1911s compared to them and the influence that it's had? Let me hear from you guys. Guys, thanks for watching. Check out all of the links down in the description below. You can kind of help support the channel through the affiliate links down in the description. Visit my website at boomsticktactical.com, and we'll see you next time.